Hi, this is Mike Bogart with Aspect Ministries, and just for anybody who might be interested, I am going to talk about how I built my own video studio just in the last few months. And so I'm standing outside my office, and I built that with some shed kit plans. I used it when I got my doctorate, and I also have used it since then in a lot of different ways. It's a very nice little home office. And for a while, I tried to make it double as my video studio as well. But I just found that in a space that small, you cannot have both a video studio and a usable office. It's going to be one or the other. I'm going to take you inside my office and show you what I mean. So let's go ahead and go on in. You can see it's a very nice little office. It's a 10 by 12. Just got some books. I don't have any great equipment in here, just some books and some things that I use on a regular basis. You can see my nice little desk that my dear wife got me, just kind of a cheap little used roll top desk, which serves my purposes very well. But you can see in here there's just not a lot of room. It's only like 2 or 3 steps wide, plus maybe a step or 2 extra long, and it's just not enough to where I could have both a photographic studio, a video studio, and have this as a usable office. So some time ago, I guess maybe about a year ago, I decided I really do need a separate studio. So I'm going to take you now to the studio that I've completed. All right, I'm standing in front of my completed shed. You can see it here. The paint is finished. It's got white trim. It's got these little decorative bits of hardware on the door. It's got a porch that I just finished building. You can see it there. I haven't stained it yet, but that will come. So the exterior is pretty well completed. I started by buying a shed kit from one of the popular large home improvement stores. Had it shipped to my property. It was an 8 by 10 shed kit. After receiving the shed and understanding that it really was 8 by 10 and kind of visualizing what that 8 by 10 dimension would be like, I realized I needed it bigger. And so I thought, I can probably make it deeper and make it a 10 by 10. So I got my son who's in construction, and my other son who's handy, and my brother-in-law who's done a lot of construction in his life, and together with some extra materials, of course, that I had to buy, we modified it into a 10 by 10 shed. So I'll tell you the process that we went through, hopefully more or less step by step, so that if you want to do something similar, you might be able to do it yourself. So I started with leveling the ground, and that took a couple of pickup truck loads of soil that I had to bring in. And then I also brought in a little bit of gravel so that I could have a foundation under the piers. Then the crew, which is my brother-in-law, my 2 sons, and I, we laid out the framework for the floor, and that was not hard to do. Then we had, of course, level that up on the piers, and then we were able to put the kit together, including the extra materials that we had bought so that we could make an 8 by 10 kit into a 10 by 10 kit. And so once we got that done, we had something that wasn't too shabby. But there again, I had to do some modification. So here's my shed that I built. And so it's fully insulated. It's got a roof on it that I put on. So it's ready to go. It just needs to be painted. But it's going to be my studio. So let me turn the camera around and we will go inside. So you can see the walls. They've got insulation in the walls. And then I just put this hardboard. It's very cheap, like $10 a sheet. I put that in there. I had some extra pieces of some different colored stuff that was the same thing. The roof is this Artec stuff that's supposed to be really good for insulation and soundproofing. So that's what the ceiling is. And then I decided that not only do I want a green screen in here, but I want an opportunity to have a backdrop that I could do if I wanted to do an interview or just a different backdrop. And so a friend of ours had some fencing that they were tearing out, and so they invited us to take some of the fence. They had a lot of it, so I got some cedar. The cedar's the top stuff that's stained. I wanted that to jump out a little bit, so I found some clear stain that I had, or clear sealer that I had, and put that over the top. And then the stuff that's behind it is just fence boards that I washed, sort of a grayish color. Some of the fence boards were already a reddish brown color, and some were just plain old cedar. It's all wired, and it has a light. You see the outlets. And I'm going to put a carpet in. I'll hang a green screen against the pallet wall, which will be useful, but I can also take the green screen down and use the pallet wall as a backdrop. I will put moving blankets up against these walls to make it more soundproof. And we're going to make a lot of videos in here for the gospel. All right, so now I'm in the process of putting up these moving blankets. You can see all along the walls. I've got them fastened to the walls with screws. Now where my pallet wall is that I can use for interviews or just to have a nice backdrop, I've got that covered so that I can do green screen, but I don't have it fastened to the wall. I have it clipped to the wall with these big binder clips. I'll show you what they look like, something like that. Of course, there's screws screwed into the top of the wall, and you see them all along here. And then I have a nice carpet down on the floor. Need to work the wrinkles out of it, but it was a cheap carpet I got on eBay. And then I will also have these doors. They will also have blankets that I can clip so that they can be removed. Okay, well, now I added the green color to the main part of the building. I will get the trim in a day or two, and that will be white. So now it matches the other buildings. These shed kits come with a door that's probably about 6 feet high. And the problem with the door is that every time I walked out of the door, I cracked the top of my head. I'm about 6'1" in height. And I just got tired of cracking my head on the door frame. So I invited a dear friend over who lives close to me. And between my friend and I, we were able to cut the opening a little higher. And then we were able to, we had to modify the whole structure and fix the framing of the door. And then we had to do something about lengthening the doors because the doors match the opening. So you can see here that I have added just a little extra layer to the bottom of the door. You can see here on this door how I've kind of put it together. It's got 2 or 3 extra pieces on it. So now it looks pretty nice, and I don't crack my head when I walk in, which is nice. So let's go inside. Now you can see the green screen here. Okay, a moment ago I showed you the moving blankets, which deaden the sound. And there's some traffic that goes by. I don't know how much that's going to affect it when I have a lapel mic on. But I have this now, this non-reflective green screen, and it's also clipped up with these document clips, and therefore it's also removable. And so I'm just going to give you a bigger picture. I'm going to back up as much as I can, and you see there's my chair and all the pieces of equipment that I'm using. I have these lights, which are studio lights. So you turn them on, it makes pretty good light, but it's diffused and it's softened a little bit with these umbrella-like diffusers, and you see the same thing over here. This is not turned on. I have my teleprompter here with my iPad, and I can use my iPhone back here, and it can attach, and it will shoot right through the teleprompter, and I can read what I'm trying to record. So here we are. I don't have my lighting turned on, but you can see this pretty well. I'm going to rig up an old MacBook that I have, and I found a way to make it so that it can be a monitor so that I can see what my iPhone is filming on the monitor. That way I don't have to keep getting up and down and wondering if I'm cutting the top of my head off, or I've only got part of what I want in there in the video. So that's going to be a real improvement. I'd like to be able to make these videos completely on my own if necessary. Silly me, I'm not really that tech oriented. I'm the content guy, and I've usually relied upon tech people to help me make my videos. But so if I'm going to do this on my own, I have to learn some technical skills. And I was getting very poor video quality with my iPhone, and I couldn't figure it out. iPhone's supposed to have a really great camera on it. It turns out that there are camera settings in your settings icon, and you can select any level that you want. I'm going to start filming in 4K at 24 frames per second. And then once you put it into your post-production program, which I use iMovie, then if you're going to export it to YouTube or just export it as a file, you've got to export it at the highest quality. Well, sounds simple now, but someone had to clue me into that. But I guess you can't be good at everything. One of the great uses of a green screen is that you can put a picture behind you. So there is a setting, at least in iMovie, where you can use the green screen setting instead of the cutaway setting, and you're able to insert a picture behind you to make it look like you're any place in the world. Now, I don't have this set up for lighting very well right now, so you can see there's a big shadow behind me on the green screen. But even so, when I insert the picture, you can see the difference that it makes. Well, this is Dr. Michael Bogart for Aspect Ministries, showing how I built my very own studio. I want to say thanks to all my family and friends who helped in this project. It turned out great. My desire is that Aspect Studios will be used and empowered by God to make many life-changing videos and podcasts for the kingdom of God. God bless you. Stay tuned for more videos from Aspect Ministries and our newest project, which is the Undiscovered Bible. Can't wait to launch that one.